Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today I'm going to listen to and review the latest track from Emptiness. It's called Ailleurs, and it's from their new album Vide, which comes out February 12th, 2021, from Season of Mist. But before I do that, if you'd like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Alright, big fan of Emptiness. I absolutely loved their last two albums. Both of them made my favorite albums of the year for their respective years, and also my favorite albums of the decade. They've been increasingly kind of abandoning like metal elements altogether, aside from kind of the vocals, and it seems like they're continuing to head that direction with this. But I love nothing but the whole all great stuff. Just very interesting band. One of the most forward-thinking bands around right now, I think. People ask me, like, does anybody get more than a 7 on the innovation scale? Bands like this. They're the ones that is there for. To keep the other groups grounded. That's a very ugly album cover, I must say. Probably purposefully so, but it's not aesthetically pleasing. Just, yeah, very chill. Even more so than the last album. Not for Music definitely had, this kind of vibe, but I feel like they're going even further into just the atmospheric side of it. But the soundscapes they're able to build are just so eerie. There's a very kind of like Twin Peaks vibe, where there's like this beauty to it, but also always lingering under the surface is that very, David Lynch kind of thing. You can't have the light without the dark. That's what he would say. I looked up ailleurs, and it more or less looked like it's translated to elsewhere. So like another place, which seems fitting. I heard that this whole album is in French, which should be interesting. I kind of like that. I like to vary things up. And honestly, I'm less of a lyrics guy than a kind of vibe guy. So whether or not I fully understand what they're saying is almost redundant to me. I kind of like music that allows me to sort of interpret it however I see fit anyways. And so that just like removes yet another wall for me to do that. It's very chill guitars, but they still have that like little edge of like strangeness, like this uncanny vibe, and then just really chill drum beats. I'm interested where the song is gonna go, because I know it's on the longer side too. It's like over 7 minutes. Hopefully y'all stick with me through it. Except for the newcomers who are like, you just talk over the music the whole time. Yeah, that's what I do. I do commentary. I don't just bob my head for the song and call that a reaction. Not my thing. You want that? Plenty other channels that do that. Or you can just go listen to the song. Easy as that. I don't get why people get mad. And just that reverb on the guitar just like takes you away. It's almost like a Deftones-y kind of thing. I don't even know what to say. I'm like speechless. I'm starting to like just go to that other place. Again, if I translated that correctly, it's a very fitting title. This is what their whole albums do for me too. Like, it's just a very otherworldly experience. If you're not familiar with Emptiness, they're last I checked, they were based out of Belgium. Could be wrong about that. They have at least one member from Enthroned. And they just make cool, weird, experimental music that sort of fuses black and death metal and doom with just this something of their own. They're one of a kind. Like, I can't think of another band that sounds quite like them. Definitely worth checking out their back catalog. Their first album's kind of just okay. It's a little bit more run-of-the-mill. Nothing But the Hole is where things really start to get interesting. Little baby crying noises in there. Yeah. Ugh. Sounds like baby like choking though. I don't know how much I like that. It's a very wet sounding cry. There's this very, I don't know if you can hear it, but like in my headphones there's this very subtle like whispering. Sounds like audio that's been like sped up or adjusted in some way. Just yet another layer of weirdness. I did subscribe to your channel. I didn't think you could put a card for subscribing to your own channel. They changed the rules on that? I'll have to look into that. Oh well, okay, we're at that. That kind of flew by, honestly. That did not feel like, yes, 7.5 minutes. That honestly felt like maybe like 4 minutes. That's crazy. Then again, I kind of like zoned out for a minute there. It did, true again to kind of the David Lynch comparisons I was making. There's some time manipulation going on with this song too. So yeah, that was really cool. Again, that was Emptiness with L'Ailleurs, and it is from their upcoming album Vide. And what did I think about it? Not my favorite song I've heard from them so far. Could have used a little bit more like dynamic range, a little bit more ups and downs. It kind of like set out on a path and sort of stuck there, but I still quite enjoyed it. Like I like I said, everything Emptiness does, and I think this is a really solid one on the side of their more kind of atmospheric drifting outings. And so in terms of enjoyability, which is an interesting scale for this band, like I love that's another thing. I love bands where like talking about enjoyability is difficult. I think of bands like Piran and stuff where it's like that's not necessarily the goal for you to like enjoy it. So it's harder to rate. But just purely in terms of like, would I go back and re-listen to this over and over again, and kind of the usual things I think of in terms of enjoyability, to be fair, I give it like an 8. It's not a club jam, that's for sure. Not to its detriment, but if again I'm trying to give it an objective rating, give it like an 8 for that. In terms of musicianship, that's a tough one too, because this isn't a track that sets out to like be overtly really technical or crazy or anything like that, but it comes together really well. The songwriting is really great. The layering and just the atmosphere and all that is excellent. So that's a tough one. I probably, for the type of music it is in that realm, I give it like a 9. So think it's pretty solid on that front. And then again, in innovation, like this is where they always shine. So for innovation, I give it like a 9. Like this is really interesting, unique stuff, and they're continuing to just drive their sound forward, evolve, do their own thing and not really give a fuck what anybody else thinks about it. So always appreciate that. 998, like a B plus for that. Like a B plus. I'll be interested to hear the rest of the album, and also I kind of need to hear it in context. That's the other thing. Like Emptiness albums, I feel like are meant to be listened from start to finish, and so picking out any single track kind of loses some of the narrative, so to speak. So I'll need to hear it in context to really rethink this over time. But those are just my overall impressions on it. Now, you let me know down in the comments, what did you think of this? Are you an Emptiness fan? How do you think this compares to their previous tracks? Have you never heard Emptiness before and this is your introduction to them? Be really interested to hear kind of your reactions to it from the first time, whether they be positive or negative. Let's just get a conversation going. That's kind of my favorite thing to do down there. And then, hey, stick around because I got plenty more videos coming right after this one. Not only these track reviews and music video reviews, but also full album reviews, tier lists, interviews with bands on the podcast, you name it, we've got it. So plenty of reasons, again, to subscribe if you have not already. In the description, you can find links to our social media where you can follow us, the email newsletter I send out personally every Friday, metaltrenches.com for even more reviews and content, and our Patreon and Subscribe Star if you want to take that extra jump to becoming a full-on supporter. Even just $1 a month gets you early access to content and helps me keep this train a-rolling. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.